Most people in today's world have access to some sort of smartphone or internet, or what is one of the biggest issues or uses that it's used for? Social media. We wake up every day and we check our social media to see what we might have missed while we were sleeping, and at night we check it again to make sure we didn't miss anything again. In this age in technology, we are constantly connected, however, social media eventually takes its toll. Today, I'm going to be speaking about how social media has negative effects on us, its users. To highlight my stand, I'm going to explain how social media is a strong tool for negative thoughts and how it's used to spread information that results in negative outcomes. Now, many people are bullied as they grow up. Some of it's physical and name-calling, and unfortunately, we exist in an era of technology where a majority of bullying occurs through social media. A lot of people think that they can hide behind a screen and their comments do not impact others. They can spout hateful comments and make fun of others' life choices and that they've never met in person. An example of some individuals' stance is on the LGBT community. There are people that believe that they can express their negative views of the community over social media because it's easier because they can remain anonymous. A statistic taken from the National School Climate Survey states that over 55% of LGBT students have been exposed to cyberbullying through social media, such as Facebook and instant messaging. In addition to stating harassing comments, another useful tool that social media users use is the spread of pictures and video. Nobody likes to read things anymore, they'd rather just sit there and watch something happen. Another statistic from the Harford County Examiner states that 1 in 10 adolescents or teens have had embarrassing or damaging pictures taken of themselves without their permission. These pictures are then spread over social media for the amusement of others. This kind of bullying is both harmful for the bullied and the bullied. Relating to those who have been bullied as a result of social media, I'm next going to be speaking about how social media's exploitation of women creates a bad image and affects how they are treated. I'm sure that many women, a few that are probably in this room, have been victim to some sort of harassment. Whether it was catcalling or physical harassment, today in social media there's a widespread trend of harassment videos being made as a joke. As I'm sure also many people in this room have seen on themselves on their social media, there are videos that are made by popular social media influencers of men idolizing the rears of women as they're passing by. For this video, it may all be fake. However, in real life, these instances are occurring. Users of social media are seeing these examples and in turn act out on their own because they find humor in it. For women, it is harassment, it is not humorous at all. However, they endure it because others have seen it as funny videos on Facebook that show it's okay. Another funny trend that has spread over social media is online challenges. In the past few years, these challenges have become a thing of popularity and are enticing users to do them to increase their followers or gain some sort of popularity. Unfortunately, many of them are dangerous and users are unaware of how dangerous they can be. Some examples of these challenges that I'm sure many of you have also heard about are the Cinnamon Challenge, Ice Bucket Challenge, Duct Tape Challenge, and the most recent and popular one, the Tide Pod Challenge. These challenges are spread virally through social media and result in a lot of negative outcomes. A teenager in Washington attempted the Duct Tape Challenge, which resulted in him getting a crushed eye socket and 48 stitches. Another woman lost her 4-year-old child after he ingested too much cinnamon from trying to attempt the Cinnamon Challenge. And in 2018, already, there have been 37 reported cases of Tide Pod ingestion, half of which were intentional. Now, some of these challenges were created for a good cause, such as raising money for ALS. However, a lot of the dangers are overshadowed by the humor and social media popularity that comes from doing these challenges. Users are not made aware of all the information when it comes to these challenges, and this brings me to my final point, the spread of false information. Social media is a strong tool of spreading false information, and this was proven in the most recent presidential election. Spreading false information over social media provides the wrong info to its users, who then react based on what they've seen. A statistic from Stanford University says that 64% of people who use Twitter for news say that they have encountered something that they later discovered wasn't true. Now, hypothetically, imagine that only videos you were repetitively exposed to of bakers spitting in their cakes. You would most likely be led to believe that many bakers spit in their cakes. This goes hand in hand with police brutality, racist commentary, anti-immigration, etc. Social media is used as a tool to spread hate, and in fact, more likes were amassed over social media for these issues in 2016 more than any year since 2008. This is proof that the hate being spread over social media is affecting audiences it is reaching. Now, all in all, users of social media could avoid many of these negative effects by simply not participating, but unfortunately, social media is such a large part of everybody's lives today that it's hard to live without it. It's a way for people to stay connected, and as they seek this connection, they are also viewing things that over time affect their thinking. Social media is an enabler that people spread whatever information they want about whoever they want, and the issue with this is that nobody wants to stop. This is why I believe that overall social media has a negative effect on its users. Thank you. Rough draft. I'll email the final.
Okay. All right, well, the propositions identified at the beginning, a lot of people are doing the same thing, and we want to be careful about that. You're inserting the word how at the beginning of your proposition and turning it into an informative thesis rather than a declarative statement. I'm going to show you how social media is having this effect is not the same thing as saying, I'm going to prove to you that social media is having this effect. You want a declarative statement for your argument, not something that is descriptive or expository in nature. There's no preview of what the supporting structure is going to be, so I have no idea how many supporting points eventually are going to be part of the speech. As I listened to the speech, it sounded to me like there were 5 or 6, and that seems an awful lot to be trying to get through in a short amount of time. There's probably a better way to condense those a little bit so it's easier to process it. In the body of the speech, though, you do signpost those points as you went through it. You don't use numerical signposts on most of the points, but you do have transitions between the sections of material, so that helps a little bit. I think a numerical signpost would help, especially since we didn't get a preview statement. That would strengthen the ability of the audience to recall information and also see the relationship between the points, some of which I think are interconnected. You've got some chains of argument that are built in here. The examples that you have a few examples. I'm still, I got to be careful about some of these things. Why a 4-year-old is on social media and gets the cinnamon challenge is not clear to me, and that really feels like it's an outlier in terms of an example. The other examples, I think you did a little bit better job providing some information on. You do kind of qualify the ALS ice bucket challenge a bit, recognizing that there is a difference between some social media crazes or behaviors and others. Distinguishing between the two, though, I think is a little problematic. On the first point, you said that most bullying takes place online nowadays, and I didn't hear any source or information for that. I don't doubt that there's a lot of cyberbullying going on, so that's not really controversial. The question is it worse because of the social media? Is it more widespread because of the social media? I would think it would be, but you need to provide a little bit more information on that. I did like the statistics, though, that you had that talked about the percentage of LGBT students who have been bullied online, and the idea that 1 in 10 people have had a picture taken of them that got spread through social media that is perhaps not particularly flattering. I think that's the kind of stuff that you need to have. You need to have a little bit more material like that. The stuff about the influencers duplicating real life experiences and it not being funny, but it's actually insulting, that was confusing. I'm not exactly sure why it was presented that way. If there are actual videos of this, and if it's going on anyway, for instance, then it's real life that is causing the problem. It's not the videos that are causing the problem. You don't have anything that demonstrates that the videos cause the problem, except that you say people wouldn't like it, and then they don't, that it might be problematic for them not to like it because other people think it's funny. I can see why they might be conflicted about that, but again, that's all asserted on your point. The other thing about the challenges, I thought you had some good examples, like I said, with the exception of that one outlier. And then The stuff about the news, I thought that was an interesting point, that the people who use Twitter, almost 2/3 of them discover that something that they heard on Twitter later on turns out not to be true. That's a warning, I think, that would be applicable to almost everything on the internet. One of the reasons why you don't want to rely on the internet for all of your information. You got to be a little bit careful about what's out there. But the notion that social media is the source of that, social media might spread it, but I'm not exactly sure that that's... I think we need some more general information on that, but I like that statistic. I thought that was a good piece of information. All right, thank you.